New York Lawyers provides services that no one else is providing in communities in real need, doing work that is really very important that affects literally hundreds of thousands of people.
New York Lawyers represents the underrepresented, and they do it not only through litigation, they do it through community organizing and community activism.
If you look at our community lawyering and how we partner law firms with members of the community, it's incredible. You really give the people in the community a chance to be heard. That's what makes New York Lawyers for the Public Interest so special.
New York Lawyers for the Public Interest is a not-for-profit civil rights law firm that for over 30 years has both done its own in-house practice and partnered with lawyers at private law firms who do pro bono work on behalf of nonprofits and community groups in New York City.
New York Lawyers works on issues of racial justice and disability rights. We work on environmental justice and health justice. And in the area of disability rights, we work on issues of education, particularly special education, deinstitutionalization, and also opportunity and access. And through our clearinghouse, we also do a broad array of social justice work. Here at New York Lawyers, we're pioneering community lawyering. We're learning what's actually happening. We're not sitting in our office and coming up with problems that we think might be affecting people. We're really hearing from the communities and the individuals what in fact is going on.
One of our biggest victories this year has been improving access to pharmacies for limited English proficient patients. New York Lawyers' community lawyering model will represent community-based organizations. For example, in the pharmacy case, we represented Make the Road New York. Most of their members are Spanish speakers, and they were having problems being able to understand what their medication labels said. They weren't taking their medications properly, so we organized an entire campaign. We filed a complaint with the Attorney General's office. We also did a lot of organizing. We did media outreach, we did protests in front of pharmacies. When you combine the organizing with the legal advocacy, we were able to get a huge settlement agreement with CVS and Rite Aid, and they've agreed to provide translated labels into 6 different languages. They're going to have phone interpreter services in all of their pharmacies. There's a lot of basic changes to their policies that they've agreed to.
It's very important to us that our work helps people to have their own voice and assert their own rights.
We partner in most of our cases with pro bono law firms. Some of these big institutional cases our office could never do on its own, and so being able to partner with law firms is very useful.
One example of a way that we partner with law firms is through our special education practice. We have tremendous expertise in-house, and we're able to screen the clients and place those cases at law firms, and then we mentor those cases and are able to do much, much more work with the limited resources that we have.
I'm Rosario Castillo. I have a son with special needs, Antonio.
We do as much as we can with Antonio. We wanted him to advance in the school setting.
We had a lot of difficulty with Antonio's education. Antonio had no physical therapy, no speech therapy, no nurse. Antonio's also diabetic. And Antonio did not go to school for a whole year. Our case was forwarded to Lisa Isaacs and the New York Lawyers for the Public Interest.
New York Lawyers for the Public Interest works with caretakers and parents of children with special education needs. We work by providing direct advocacy services as well as legal representation. And we also work with the Clearinghouse of New York Lawyers to place appropriate cases with private law firm pro bono partners.
They reviewed Antonio's case and they saw that it was a really good case, and they forwarded to Leatham and Watkins.
Our goal was to assist the parents in getting the resources that Antonio needed.
They went through the system for some time, unsuccessfully, and it was frustrating for them. It's not easy, and they need somebody to go to bat for them, and that's what we could do.
After our negotiation with the school officials and the DOE, they came back and provided the full-time nursing that he needed, and that happened very quickly.
It's been incredible. We've accomplished so many things. My son is learning so many new things. Sometimes I feel like crying because it's a new thing he brings home and he surprises us.
Besito, mama.
Now they're able to get what their child needs. and what they just plain weren't getting. I'm pretty psyched that actually things worked out.
There are so many people who need help. NYLPI plays a great role in sort of organizing that for big firms. On top of that, NYLPI also provides the expertise, and having that really makes a difference.
The in-house lawyers at New York Lawyers are really an incredibly strong, talented group of people. They take on caseloads that would be challenging even to the most experienced lawyers in private practices. They really are models of the best of the legal profession.
We have an in-house environmental justice program that focuses on low-income communities in New York City that bear a disproportionate share of the noxious facilities in the city.
I primarily work on contaminated school sites. What I do is ensure that the school construction authority, when they build new schools, that they do it in a way that best protects the health and safety of the community.
There are a lot of different things that we can do: lobbying, legislation, litigation, and then demos and rallies and press.
We actually just won a huge victory in the Bronx. NYLPI worked with the Bronx Committee for Toxic-Free Schools, which is the community organization that was really leading this. The court basically agreed with NYLPI's position that the city violated state environmental law. It was a huge victory for us, and it was kind of a David and Goliath situation.
We have set a precedent that going forward, the School Construction Authority will now have to do a better job of monitoring their cleanups.
One of the things that makes New York Lawyers really unique is our pro bono clearinghouse. We are able to get assistance for everything from legal research to co-counseling on a large impact case.
For example, we have a case currently called the LJ case, in which young people with developmental disabilities are getting caught between two different government agencies, the Administration for Children's Services and the Office of Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabilities.
In essence, each of them has tried to say, this is not my problem. These kids, they've forgotten that there are kids at the heart of this, but that these kids are not my problem. They're your problem. We had been aware for many years of kids caught between the two systems, kids who were stuck in emergency rooms, kids who couldn't access services.
I was placed in a nursing home, and it wasn't the right setting for me. I mean, they claimed that they had a school there, but it really wasn't a school. It wasn't up to my educational level. I was at a high school level, but yet every day I would be doing things that a first grader, second grader, third grader would do repetitively, and I would be like, this is gonna get me out of high school? I'm like, no, I wanna go back to school.
One day, I was out at a nursing home, and I met this incredibly articulate kid whose basic point to me was, I don't belong here and I need things I'm not getting.
I started begging her, can you please get me back into school?
She had the courage to sign on to become our plaintiff. As I was filing it, I realized with a shock of horror that this was going to be a really big litigation. And we reached out to Patterson Belknap. The resources, the talent, the passion that an entity like Patterson has brought to this case has made it possible.
What Roberta's been doing, it's made a very big difference, because without her, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'd probably be still stuck in some institution. I was able to finally finish high school and start to attend Queensborough Community College. Now it's so much better. Now I feel like I have more choices. I have a say of what I can do, and I was able to really start to live up to my full potential, and I feel better about myself every day when I get up in the morning.
Clearly there's an appetite in this country and in the city for change. And we're in the business of social change. That's what we do. And so I think there's a real opportunity to spread our message even more.
Our partners at the law firms are being so creative. The outpouring of interest in doing work on behalf of underrepresented New Yorkers is unprecedented. And so it gives me hope